Raise your hands, open both eyes, lift your feet, watch your soul rise. Raise your hands, open both eyes, lift your feet.
You know, one of the funny things that struck me about this bike was on the shop floor, all the bikes stood out with their chrome and, like, you know, the bright lights and the general sex appeal and everything like that. But this Road King, it like sat in a corner and it was like it was looking for you. It's like it didn't have to say anything, doesn't have to make a massive statement. It just says, I'm here if you need me.
Yeah.
It's like a. To me, it always struck me as like a mysterious quality about these new bikes. Now, obviously, it's the Road King Special, and they were launched in '94, but they can harken their heritage all the way back to the '40s. So there's a lot of refinement going up all through these generations to this particular bike.
Yeah.
And
every year you turn around, I mean, they're always improving something on it, especially with this blackened out paint scheme. A lot of people now are coming back toward mostly blacked out or half and half.
right.
Harley Davidson come out with a custom job like this, where it's mostly all blacked out with custom rims, drop bags, and a little bit of a customized exhaust. Pretty much they made this one with no windshield. Of course, you can get the windshield if you so want, but with no windshield, because there's people out there that still like the wind in their face, don't want that obstruction. But it gives almost like a dark night kind of thing scheme, and most people like it. But a lot more people are starting to come towards the blacked out because they don't. They're kind of getting away from, they love the chrome, but they're getting away from all the polishing.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to clean, easy to keep clean, and less polishing, more riding. It's got the rock forward to cut the rear cylinder, you know, which cuts more heat. Reposition catalyst on the back.
Right.
So your rider, whoever's riding on the back, you know, their feet, they don't feel so much heat.
Okay.
Oil cools, helps you keep it even cooler. Dual braking, ABS brakes. You have a dual disc. Now this headlight is a little different, and it puts out 986 lumens. So as far as your brightness, so that's like almost 10,000 lumens. So it's pretty bright.
Okay.
And it does taper out at night, where it gives you mostly straight down the road.
Right.
But it does flare out where it gives you off into the tree lines a little bit.
Okay.
And if it's not enough, I mean, they do have additives. You can put the extra highway lights on here. They give you that extra brightness if that's what you want.
Okay.
It's got a higher compression ratio.
Oh, yeah. That's typical with the 107s anyway. They've got higher compression.
Higher compressions. You got 10% more torque. You got a lower idle speed. So you're looking at a little less than 1,000 RPMs. Like the older versions, they're all right around 1,000 RPMs. So
right.
With these new LGAs, they have a lower idle speed.
Okay.
I think we talked about last, you got 50% more charging output. So it doesn't hurt your battery if you want to run some more electronic stuff.
That's good. Got the cruise control. That's obviously in line with the electronic throttle.
But you have now the 107. It's 1746 cc's.
Okay.
So your torque, you get about 111 foot-pounds of torque at 3250 RPMs.
Right.
So that's pretty good. Range in you get about 45 miles to the gallon.
Right.
Depending on your riding. 4.8, just under 5 inches of ground clearance. So for your leaning and curves and stuff like that, you got enough ground clearance so you can actually put a good lean into it.
Okay.
Ready to ride, it's 818 pounds, the whole bike. That's all lubricants and everything, gas and everything. Put your butt on it and you're ready to go. It's 818 pounds. So it's not
800.
that heavy. It's not past the heavy point for a small person that can't handle it, but at the same time, it's not too big.
But still be respectful.
But still be respectful, yes.
Harley had actually done some work with like the suspension.
Yeah, they call it bendable front forks, which means they have a suppressor up in here. They got a smaller spring here and they got a taller spring to pair with a suppressor right here.
Right.
So every time you hit a bump, you go to take off, riding down the road, hitting bumps, the suppressor inside here actually allows the wheels, every time the wheels try to come up, it pushes it back down.
Okay, so it's the higher it wants to go, the more it'll force it back down.
It keeps the tire on the road.
Right.
Most of them, the older models,
They just bounce.
They bounce. This one here, it actually works against everything trying to come up. It works hard to keep it down.
Right.
That's
okay.
the new.
It's like a dynamic setup, really.
Right. So it gives you more control even when you're going over bumps.
But as looks and feel go, the sort of person that I see riding this is someone who's serious. You don't tour with this, but you experience with it. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. It's more of that person that, probably that type of person that likes to ride, to do his own riding.
Yeah. Independent,
solo, just, I'm doing my own thing, catch eyes as he's doing his own thing, riding.
Yeah.
It just gives that little flair. You know, I call it, when I first saw it, I looked at it, I was like, well, you know, put a Batman symbol or something on it, like the Bat Cycle or something like that. But
no, I would have put something a bit more. I don't know. A piece of artwork on that would be like Black Magic Woman or something, or
that could work.
Or
it just has a dark, mysterious,
yeah,
subtle. I do my own thing, not what everybody else does, kind of bike.
Of course, if you've ever been looking for a bike like this, I'm sure you've gone through all the specs and all the different types of reviews and opinions about this machine. And so everything that we've talked about with Dave is like pretty much on the engine, the suspension, the cruise control, the gadgets and electrics. But what of the bike itself? What of the machine? What about its personality? There's certainly a lot to be said for its sense of being dark and mysterious. She's easy on the rubber. She's very flickable. She has a contemporary handling. And she goes. This is completely stock and she has got enormous amounts of torque. What this bike says to me is set the cruise, lean back and just watch everything you've ever hated melt away in the rear view mirrors. There's no stereo. There's no gadgets. No GPS. Just a cruise control. Accelerator, brakes, clutch, gear lever. An engine, 2 wheels and a seat. 6-gallon tank. And you're cruising. The Road King Special, for all intentions and purposes, was an incredibly sexy bike. It was dark, brooding, had this mysterious quality, and was something that you would notice as a professional rider or as a serious rider, not somebody looking for like chrome and lighting and glamour. It didn't show off, but it made an intense presence that was really enjoyable to behold.
She rumbles, she's not lightning, but she's thunder. And that's it. 70 miles an hour. And you just float.
The engine had a low rumble. The exhaust pipe obviously gave it a nice baritone tone that was very bassy and very full, very filling sound. It was a pleasure to listen to, and at any speed it just rumbled on quite happily, and I really enjoyed the sound of that bike.
Now, once again, I'm 5'9", 5'10". So I'm reaching a little bit for these handlebars. I'm not in a clamshell position, but if I'm going to put this bike in my garage, I'm going to want a little bit higher handlebars. Not mega apes, but just, I don't know, maybe an inch or two a bit higher up. I'm going to want a backrest.
The clutch was stiff. It's a hydraulic clutch, so the 107s, well indeed any of the new Harley Davidsons do have a hydraulic clutch, and so they're stiffer than normal. Now these bikes are not made for in-town riding with stop and go traffic, otherwise your arm would fall off. But at the same time, the bike radius came very late on the actual lever. So when you're taking off, like going uphill or anything like that, you have to, especially in the beginning when you first start riding a bike like this, you've got to be careful. Otherwise you'll either stall the bike or you'll be revving the engine beyond its red line to get your bike moving in any direction.
She doesn't brag because it's like she just needs to show you. Remembering all that shit the boss gave you last week? Remember the argument you had with she who must be obeyed? The kids have been screaming. You might have got a ticket. It's just been a bad week. This Road King makes it feel better. The suspension is set in such a way as it's a bit on the hard side, but that's to make sure that like the rubber stays on the ground. There's no bouncing. She's got the heel toe shift and she's just puttering along. But if you want to open her up, if you do want to feel her wrath, she'll show you. She'll be quite happy to show you everything that she's got. The higher compression and the dual spark plugs per cylinder, giving a more economical ride as well as a more powerful bang for your spray of gas through the fuel injectors, makes her incredibly responsive. She doesn't argue and she doesn't complain. She just keeps moving. That was nice. Someone left a chair on the road. That'll cause a few upsets.
Now, like I said, there were no gadgets or gizmos that really stood out. You had your speedometer, you had your cruise control, and you had your usual trip A, trip B, you had your range, and all those
simple digital readouts or simple basic information that you needed. But then the bike itself wasn't something that warranted like any high-tech gizmos or gadgets. It was something that, you know, you would be more concerned about where you were going and the road conditions and riding the bike and just hearing the sound of that engine. The acceleration on this bike is phenomenal. As always, that Milwaukee company has outdone itself with this new engine. If you've come off any of the old 103s or even the 110s, you would be in for a shock if you didn't expect anything but some sort of prime performance from this engine. And this is the 107. I can't imagine what the 114 would be like. Okay. Every time I'm on the 107 engine, I am always impressed. You're just never able to get over it. I think they may have to like make the speedometer extend a bit further to like 150 the way this bike feels. I'm gonna stand by with my brakes because I know he's gonna do something stupid. Like not indicate. I just want to just lean back and relax and just let the road melt away. Well, it comes with the engine guard, typical fuel gauge and setup. Emergency, high beam, low beam, cruise control, mirrors. You could go bar hopping on this. It's almost like she'll just take you home and you can sleep. This bike screams of experience. Yeah, neutral can be found. I would want a backrest. And if I was going for a long trip, yeah, I would put a windscreen on it. But that would be using it for something that's not really what it was completely designed for. I mean, yes, it was designed as a cruiser, a tourer, and to take you from A to B, but her real design, just to take everything that's gone wrong in your life, put it in a box, and stick it on the road behind you. Let's take this Road King home. Obviously she's a torque monster. She's a brooder. Well, the horn works. There's its home for the moment. Bleu Bayou, Harley Davidson. On Frontage Road. Just off of I-20 on Monroe. Well, the shameless plug as always. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to leave us a comment, please do. If you want to subscribe, if you're new here and you want to subscribe, then please, by all means, just hit that subscribe button. Like, comment, subscribe and share. There's some videos over there. Okay, we're going to wind up this test ride and review by thanking Dave Paquette of Bleu Bayou Harley Davidson here in Monroe. Stay safe.